Welcome back everyone, I'm Craven and this is Trails the Third. We are, well, basically underneath Grancel somewhere in Scherazard's memory. Basically, on the first time she met Aina. We're trying to escape from the east block of the city to the west block while we are being chased by men in black. And right now we have a small head start in the sewers and we just need to get through here to the other side. And it just happens to be that I do not know exactly how to get there. But hey, there's only so many ways you can go before getting stuck, right? So let's see if we can get to the other side at least for today. Tier 1. So tell me, how effective was that expired medicine? And now you can wonder, since we are picking this up from a memory long time ago, wouldn't this chest have to be empty by the time we got there in the first and second chapter? I think we went here both times. Not terrible. I'm empty now, but when I was younger, adventurers couldn't keep their hands off me. Sounds a bit like Schera's life. Alright. Well, I have killed all the monsters in the nearby vicinity just to try and level Schera up, but apparently they do not come back. So after I noticed that, I stopped fighting them, so that there's still something left for us to do together. And I think the realization I had came about around here. Yeah. Oh, and that's the one enemy I tried to avoid, because if you follow this series long enough, you know one type of enemy I really don't like, and that's the axe. Mainly because of their tendency to explode in our face. And since I'm only one character, if she blows up... you could have not missed. Alright, let's risk it. We just started the episode, so... Ooh. Did not really think that one through. But will she be able to survive and... she did a good thing. Good, Aina, get out of the way. Don't think our whip will be far enough away. Yeah. And let's see, how many tear bombs? 9, so that should at least get us somewhere. And of course I will go for as many chests as I can, because I have no idea what's gonna be ahead of us. So we need to be prepared in some way or another. And I'm hoping that we get 1 or 2 more level up before we get to the end of it. That way we automatically restore ourselves and I don't need to use those items, so I can keep them for when it matters. Zeram powder. Awesome! Less chest bump. Yeah, I'm sure you wished you could do that with Schera. Alright. Okay, so this is technically the other area, the west side of the sewers. That's what that transition usually means. Yeah, and this setup, easy. It's just an easy way to gain some CP. Easy monsters to beat. Like I said, it's just the egg enemies that I try to avoid. Yeah, this is it. This is the wall we need to make disappear. I'm guessing we'll need to find some way through this door to get to the west block. There should be some way to open it nearby. Let's start looking. And stick close to me. Oh my, that's kind of romantic, don't you think? Well, in what way is anything in this situation romantic? Well, side by side, fighting monsters, getting chased by men in black. I can see why it's romantic for some people. The lever won't move. Ooh, is it not budging? Stay quiet for a minute. I'll handle this. Scherazard removed a rock from the bottom of the device and placed her hand inside. Nice mechanical know-how. Wow, you really are amazing. But not for this. This isn't at all different from breaking into a safe, to be honest. Really though. You shouldn't be impressed by these kind of things, or getting used to them. Why? These are some things in life you're just better off not knowing. And some things you're better off not being able to do. Because knowing how to break into safes and stuff like that means you had a very hard background. The entire town smelled like a rotting open drain and was reviled even for a slum. The people who ended up there were largely those who couldn't be accommodated in a prison, those who had been driven out of the cities. Or children had been abandoned there like yesterday's garbage. I did whatever I had to do in order to survive and to live to see another day. Picking pockets at every opportunity was a habit I picked up from a very young age. Anything that caught my eye, I took. But even then, I didn't end up with enough to live. There were always men there who made their living by taking from people like me. The surest way to make money was stealing from the safes of rich men when they were out of their mansions. The residential area, full of wealthy people on the other side of the river, accessible through an underground sewer, was a perfect target for this. Every time I felt hungry, I sneaked inside one of the mansions and made use of the skills I felt like I'd known since the day I was born. The most important thing to remember when doing this was not to take everything in one go. Instead, the key was to take only a small amount each time, enough to get by, but not enough for the mansion owner to notice anything was gone. With a simple piece of wire, I had access to enough mirror to live for a couple of more weeks. Before I knew it, I was doing it every day, building up a stockpile of money instead of simply taking what I needed in the short term. And boy, I paid the price for it. I had it all taken from me by the men of the slum and ended up being kicked and stomped on until I coughed up blood. Everyone did what they did, or they said they did as much anyway, so they could keep living on. Always pretending to be desperate as an excuse to live by any means, but always taking the easiest road they could find. The town I lived in was devoid of energy, but full of filthy humans like them. And like me. Again and again I thought about giving it up. Again and again I said to myself that I wanted to stop, but I couldn't do it. I hated myself for what I was doing. I hated the fact that I couldn't stop. It was because I didn't want to return to that life that I ended up becoming a bracer. Because if I didn't, I was scared that I would end up right back where I was. The troop had saved me from that place and had made me into a respectable human being. But when I lost them, I was afraid. One thought stood out above all the rest. No matter how much I tried to forget, no matter how I became to my new life, no matter how much I tried to deny it, I was yesterday's garbage from the slums, and nothing I could do would ever change that. And that's it, really. One day, I'm sure I'll end up returning there. That's why I need to be strong, to stay strong. What job I do doesn't even matter. Anything I can pour my heart into that'll let me live an honest life is fine. Anything that keeps my mind off the past. Anything that lets me keep the ugliness in my heart at bay. If it makes me strong without relying on others, then it's fine. It's fine. I need to be strong. Stronger than anyone. Stronger than anyone. But am I? Am I really doing alright in my new life? Am I really getting stronger? Am I, Lucy? Miss Scherazard? Are you alright? You're looking very gloomy all of a sudden. Oh, it's nothing. I'm fine. As soon as I finish the job, Kurt will give me the last recommendation I need. I can finally become a real bracer. Then no one will be able to tell me I'm not strong. I won't let them. I will be strong. Anyway, we're leaving. Wait a second. Miss Scherazard. And as soon as I finish this job, then what? You're gonna go to a new region, or is this the last area you need the recommendation from? Well, I can go through there, but we still have a little bit here. Can we actually go all the way here? Found Tear Bomb. Do you take joy in yanking out others' insides? Well, depends on the opponents, but yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think for now, I think it's best if we just keep on building on that CP. If enough Terror Bomb to heal any wounds if necessary. But if we have like 200 CP, our S-Craft would be amazing against any opponent. If we needed it, is. Because against normal men in black, it would be no problem to take him down. It's just that I think maybe once we get out of here, there might be a stronger one waiting for us. And having a fully loaded CP gauge would be more than amazing to handle that. But first, let's pick up a few more chests if we can. Except that one. That enemy we will not tangle with, it's not necessary. So I heard you like chests. You pervert. No. Ah, crap. I shouldn't have said that I didn't want to fight that enemy. Because of course it would come into a space that I cannot avoid it. Yeah, attack her, it's fine. Just leave Aina alone. Too bad she doesn't have any knockback when she attacks. Alright, she survived the blast, and it's more than we need. Alright. I think that's it. I think the only way we got is to get on to the other side. Yes. Terror Bomb. If you wanted that badly, you could have just asked. Well, you're a chest. You just go ask a chest, come on. I was expecting a few more monsters here. Sorry, but the legendary item drop is in another chest. Yeah, getting a legendary item drop right now, right here, so far into the past, would be nice, but not very realistic. Because if that was the case, then she should have already have it. Guess it's locked. I know it is. Just shut up. You'll break my concentration. Oh, my bad. Scherazard took out a wire and inserted it into the keyhole. Phew, we're finally back on the surface. It's evening too, and that took longer than I thought it would. We should hurry. Of course. Are you alright though? What? You look kind of pale. Are you feeling tired? Maybe we should rest a little before moving on. I'm fine. I've had enough training to handle this level of physical activity, thank you very much. Don't underestimate the stamina of a bracer. I suppose you're right. I'm sorry. Wait, what the hell? She was never more than a few steps behind me at any given moment. How is she still fine? She never seemed out of breath, even when we were being chased by those guys, come to think of it. I feel like there were a few times when she was even ahead of me. What's up with this girl? Is this like nothing to her? Are you absolutely sure you don't need to rest? I do have a few snacks on me. Would you like me to share some? It's okay. I'm definitely fine. Right now, we need to focus on getting to the guild so we can hide out there. Food breaks can wait. We might even run into a lot of trouble on the way. But the request was to show her around the capital and I've done that. Now all I need to do is to get back to the guild and the request is done. I win. Come on, gotta move on. Well, I still feel like it would be a good idea to rest, at least a little though. Are you certain you're alright? How many times do I need to repeat myself before you get the message? To hell with it all. Hide. Even then, he looked the same. I was up all night working that damn story. All night. Who the hell does Natasha think she is? The better the scoop, the hotter it needs to be caught. Does she think I don't know that? What do you think he's talking about? I've got no more idea than you do. Maybe he's using some kind of code like those men from earlier? He couldn't be one of them, could he? Do you think he could be? Damn it all. I can't be sure. Just look at his eyes though. He doesn't look like a man who makes an honest living to me. I see what you mean. We've come this far. There's no way I'm letting us get caught now. We need to proceed carefully and deliberately. Let's see if we can find another route. If I remember correctly, that house over there is empty. This way, follow me. No house she cannot break in. For Idiot's sake, I would have done it already. You patrol the area at the bottom of the stairs. I'll take the area on top. I guess I'm gonna have to call Raymond again. Wait, he works at the villa now, doesn't he? He's a bartender there. Just my lucks, that's ages away. I swear, this job is bad for my blood pressure. I need some more nicotine in me. Would it be late enough now for them to leave? Or will they keep on patrolling the streets until the 24 hours are up? Ah, come on. Why are there still so many of them going around? How can we get to the guild like this? I think we're going to have to spend the rest of the night here, unfortunately. It won't need to come to that. I think if we can find a good opening, we can force our way through. It's just a case of finding one. I don't think that's a good idea. We need to be careful and rest while we can. As logical as that sounds, I'm not buying it's her real reason. Get a grip, Schera. I can't let my emotions get the better of me. There's no guarantee we're even safe here, you know? I still think the safest option in the long run is to get to the guild, no matter what we have to do to get there. Hey, where do you think you're going? She's already finding a spot for the night. I think the second floor is a better place to rest than the first. We'll find it easier to escape from here than we would from below. This should be a good spot. Hey, wait one damn minute. This is your safety we're talking about here. You could stand to listen to me. Those men will be patrolling carefully for the rest of the night. They aren't going to give you the opening you want, or at least I don't believe they will. We've made it this far, so I think it would be best for us to rest tonight and resume trying tomorrow, don't we? Trying to do what? Pardon? You're still hiding something, aren't you? For one thing, you're awfully familiar with the city for someone who claims it's her first time here. You also seem to know a lot about those men and what they will and won't do too. What exactly are you really after? It's plain as day at this point that you want more than just not to be caught by them. If that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have asked to be shown around the capital. Not that I think that's what you want either. What's your real goal? Well, no answer? The work we do is based around trust. We can't accept requests from people who won't tell us what they're up to, or who knows what kind of crimes we could be admitting. Go on. The whole thing about the inheritance was all a big fat lie, wasn't it? Something about you'd been setting off alarms since we started running around together. Strike that, since you first came to the guild. Why did you lie to me? Well, the story about the inheritance is true, I swear it. I want to go to Grancel Castle. I really am the one who my grandfather gave his fortune, but I haven't finished the necessary procedure to truly inherit it yet. Until I complete the required paperwork in Grancel Castle administrative room, I'm not legally allowed anything. And that's why there's so many of those men in the black around that area. All of my relatives know exactly what I need to do, you see? So, they're trying to make sure I can't do it. Still, if I don't keep trying to move forward, I'll... what a mess. Well, okay. For argument's sake, let's assume that I believe all you just said. Why am I only hearing about it now? That is... You thought I want in on the money, didn't you? If I did, and I knew everything, I'd have all the opportunities as a greedy girl could dream of to take it when together with you. That's what you thought I'd do, isn't it? I play along and then steal it for myself the second a chance presented itself. Do I look that much of a scumbag to you? No, you don't. That's not it at all. After I lost grandfather, I lived all on my own. But the second his will became public, I had crowds of people descending upon me. People who, like you said, were interested only in claiming his fortune for themselves. They all started to live in mine and my grandfather's house, and before I knew it, my only peaceful life was shattered. One day, someone who pushed me down the stairs. Another, I taste something funny in my food. These kind of things began happening on a regular basis. Legally, they were my relatives while I was a minor, so there was very little I could do. I tried reasoning with them at first, but in the end, I had no choice but to leave home myself. I wandered the highways alone, going from place to place, trying not to be discovered. But I knew that while I could hopefully avoid being caught that way, I eventually just be declared as missing and presumed dead. Besides, after I'd left once, even if I did go back home, I knew I'd promptly be locked up somewhere and reported as still missing regardless. Grandfather's will would be declared as invalid in time, and my relatives would blissfully share their newly bequeathed wealth between them. I hated the thought of that happening. That is why I decided to return here to the capital. Even if it's the last thing I do, I will formally inherit what he wanted me to. That is why I decided to try and get an escort from someone I could trust. So it's not that I don't think I can trust you, not at all. And I will admit that wanting to explore the capital was a lie. I'm sorry to deceiving you. What a grade A moron. Oh, I'm sorry. You could have said all of this from the beginning and saved us a lot of headache. If I'd known what you were trying to do, I would have been able to formally escort you where you wanted to go. And the guild would have been the safest place for you to hide out too. We would have ended up in this dump instead. I suppose you're right. I was just scared. I'll never be able to forget what I saw that day. What I saw in the eyes of everyone who gathered to hear that will read. The horror I felt when I saw it. Madness, insanity, cold, murderous light. Emotions that no one can explain. That no one can put into words. It wasn't visible for long before they managed to push it back below the surface and out of sight. But it was still there. Because now, I believe there's something that all of us possesses naturally. Human beings are capable of limitless cruelty. Every single one of us. And that realization left me terrified of us all. It's not that I don't trust bracers, it's just that I've been so scared. I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't have wasted your time with any of this. I should have never gotten you caught up in all of this when you were busy enough already. Just forget Listen. It's my policy to give 100% to all work I undertake. Don't underestimate me. I'm the one who should be apologizing to you. I wanted to be strong and to live with my head held high. I still believe I was right to feel that way, and yes, I've lived my hardest until now. But you've made me notice that there's something wrong with my attitude. I'm not going about it right away, and it's made me realize anew that I want to be able to keep living with pride in my every step. So, no more saying sorry, okay? I want to see this job through to the very end. Let's do this. Let's get to that castle. So, was it in where in Grancel Castle that we need to go again? The administrative room. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is noon. Noon? Noon today. That barely leaves us any time at all. Why are you only telling this now? Well, it has to be filed within a month of the deceased passing away. That's the lore hill in Liberl, apparently. Alright, I was never much good at this legal stuff. I bet Kurt knows it all by heart though. He did seem the type who might. Let's get going. I don't have any time to waste. As long as we discussed earlier, we should be able to handle this. We're getting inside the castle and they're not going to stop us. Miss Scherazard, I really am glad that you were the one who undertook my request. The more time I spend with you, the more I realize you're really someone dependable, who relies on their own strength to live. You're blowing merits out of proportion, I think. Also, can we stop with the Miss Scherazard now? The way you say it just makes my name sound ridiculously long. Oh, does it? It does. It feels like our conversations take twice as long as they should because of it. Well, if you insist. And now you know all there is to know about what I want to do. So, I would like to formally request again that you escort me to Grancel Castle. You got it. I'll get you there, I promise you that. Thank you. Alright, let's do it. Do you want to go inside and rest a bit? Nope, don't rest. Is it because in case we get attacked? Mossman's hobby is quite an unusual one, isn't it? I think it's lovely though. If you ask me, being able to spend time surrounded by natural greenery is the definition of bliss. Oh, I do research on the cultivation of crops, you know. It's not a full-time occupation or anything though, it's just something I do as a hobby. Ah, that explains what he does later in life. I was beside myself when I read about Saul Holden's passing in Liberl news yesterday. I knew he was well known for being rich, but I don't remember ever reading his age anywhere. I hadn't realized he was that old. Hello there, interested in having breakfast here? We're best known for our curry and our coffee. I wholeheartedly recommend them both. Well, once we're done with our business, we'll come back. Welcome to the Liberl News Service. This is a reception, while the second floor is the home of the editorial department. Alright, let's have a quick look. I'm off and go meet with someone in a minute. Not just anyone either, a famous reporter who once received the Pulitzer Prize. It's been a long time since we last met too. I can't wait to see the guy. Oh, that Niall, he really doesn't seem to understand. There's no way we could have printed an article like that as it stands. He's just so good-natured that he seems to have a habit of getting far too wrapped up in a single opinion or piece of information. I'm sure he'll come to understand eventually, but now... Doesn't he still do that nowadays with his articles? He will never change. Oh, yesterday's editorial meeting was a disaster, to put it lightly. I can understand how frustrated Niall must feel, though. He finds some incredible stories, but they never end up getting printed. Both Natisha and the editor-in-chief are really strict with him too. So there are even more stories that he have picked up that got never published? I wouldn't mind reading that in the garden at some point. That would be amazing. Like the hidden stories of Niall the reporter. Hey. Did you know that it's almost time for the Archbishop's sermon to begin? I should get going over to the cathedral. Phew, that's the leak all fixed. Now to head out and do a good day's work. Yeah, let's slowly make our way towards the castle if possible. Ooh. Would the general be home? Of course not. Rachel's in her final month of pregnancy now. My husband should be coming over from Huckengate any day now. I can hardly wait to see my grandchild. What should I do though? First, you need to try and calm down. How about starting by giving some thought on what to call the baby? What to call it? Ooh, actually laying in bed. Yes, I understand. I'm sure everything will be fine. You've got nothing to worry about. I'm right here with you. All moments in their lives 5 years before anything we ever encountered in this game. Going Metal Gear style. I knew you'd come eventually. Today's her last chance, after all. Anton? You're kidding me. A cat? No, wait a sec. There might be something else inside. Might be a relative of Anton. Oh, don't let your guard down. I know. There they are. Too late. A preemptive attack even. Really? At this moment, you just lost your entire preemptive strike. Ah, Schera, what am I ever gonna do with you? Oh well, at least one of them is off the table. Yeah, I don't think it matters which one we attack, because they all need to get down. And whatever Aina does, any hit would just be extra. Like I know, we're gonna save the 200 points for a later encounter, because I'm pretty sure this is not gonna be the last one. With all the terror bombs we've collected, we'll all just use them in between fights to keep our HP up. I think we should have enough. If she doesn't miss that much. This isn't good. Now's our chance, Aina. Alright. There's more of them? No. Nice of you to finally show yourselves. What's the hold up? Why aren't you made an example out of them yet? Our client's waiting. Gotta move on. I wish Kurt was here. You really gonna regret messing with us, kid. I hope you don't expect to just be able to walk away after showing yourselves. First, I'm gonna kill ya. The other young lady can live a while longer. She's still useful. As long as we can get her to write her own will, it'll save us for having to forge one later. You really think that this will be that simple? You think that saying that is going to unnerve us? You've got another thing coming. Aina, you can still run, right? Yes. I'll take all of these guys on myself. While I'm doing that, you run. What? You can't take this many opponents on by yourself and have a chance of winning. You'll... not going to beg for mercy, I take it? You've got something you need to do, and so do I. So let's just do them. Don't worry about me if I have any intention of dying here. What are you even talking about? Yeah! Damn you! Go, Aina! But... I said go! You seem to have a little trouble over there, Scherazard. What? I knew it. Who the hell are you? Kurt, what are you doing here? Have you forgotten that I'm affiliated with the Grancel branch of the guild? I see nothing odd about my presence here. Well, I know, but I'm happy that you seem to have realized exactly what it is you must do. But I can't say I'm as pleased about how willing you appear to be to throw away your life, without first exploring other options. I'm sorry. I can't entirely fault your decision from the perspective of Bracer, but I would like you to give a little more attention to your surroundings. I am well aware that you seem staunchly opposed to relying on others, but take a good look at the situation you're currently in, and tell exactly what it is that you should really be doing. Kurt, can you take care of things here for me? Certainly. Putting a spear in his neck and then electrocuting them. Now, Aina. Right. They're getting away. Half of us should be enough to take care of this guy. Everyone else? What? Oh, sorry for the delay, Kurt. It isn't Sting, isn't it? Oh, not at all. I've largely taken care of them as is. Ah, Gundalf. I can't remember if I've ever seen him before. Could be, but if that was the case, it surely would have been a very slight moment. But always nice to meet more bracers. You sure do fast work. Though I'm more surprised to see that obstinate young lady finally come to her senses. When she was with the Zeiss branch, she was more like a wild boar, always chasing forward without stopping to take a look around her. I've always known she was what it takes to be an excellent bracer. She'd merely lost sight of something important and needed to be put back on track. Given the opportunity, she was always perfectly capable of doing so. She'll be able to get much stronger than she is now, that she's right at herself. I'm sure of that. To be young again. Hey, quit acting like we're not even here. Kill them both. They're sure taking their time. The hell are they even doing? No, there's no need to be so hasty. Capturing her isn't even necessary to the plan as far as I'm concerned. As soon as the noon bell chimes, true as that may be, sure, that would invalidate the will and ensure she doesn't get all the money, but it'll also mean you have to share it with everyone else, which means our share will end up going down. Kinda like to avoid that if we can. Oh, don't you worry, we've got plenty of options. Remember, you're only dealing with a single young girl. What? Uncle? Why? Oh dear, what are you doing here, Aina? I kept telling you how dangerous it is to venture outside, and alone at that. You blind old man, she isn't here alone. I can see you. Getting in my way. It's like they don't even care if they killed Aina in the process. This disc wasn't a very good shot. It takes marksmanship isn't exactly your forte. Oh, sorry, sir. Scherazard, what is it? Let's just force our way through here. We don't have time to mess around. Got it. It's time to come along home, Aina. Everyone's waiting for you, you know? Ooh, he's got a lot of HP. Same as him. I'm pretty sure this gentleman doesn't have any reach when it comes to abilities. So let's just try to take care of them as best as we can. Ooh, we aren't even healed yet. Well, we still have some emergency capabilities. I think. Damn, they have a pretty big reach. Uh-oh. Items. Heals all and restore 100 CP. Alright. Should I heal or... Oh, I can't hit the others with this. Hmm? Did he not get hit by that? Or did he already heal himself? Ooh, he's not a real gentleman, is he? Let's take down their leader and see if anything happens. Some things never change. And never should. Really? Aina, can you not walk too far away from me? Ah, fudge. Aina, stay close, please. I need to be sure that you're safe. Cause of braces first. Mission is to keep the public safe, no matter what. Alright, let's take care of the little ones. Good. Oh, I think they're just too far away for a whip attack, doesn't it? Nope, close enough. If all of it hit, she would have taken care of the gentleman by herself, which would have been a really nice thing to see. Ooh, what's the meaning of this? I paid good mirror to hire them, and this is the quality of service I receive? This has to be a breach of contract, surely. This isn't acceptable at all. I can barely bring myself to watch. I think it's time you took a little nap yourself. Oh, what are you doing? Is that all you're capable of? Reckless violence? What a poor upbringing you must have had. Uncle? Smack him. Please use the briefcase on his face. I've got no interest in inheriting grandfather's land or his money. That's not what I've been running away from you or doing any of what I've been doing. But much as I don't need it, I know I don't want you to have a single mirror of it either. I am so sorry. Damn, that's gonna hurt in the morning. I sometimes really find myself doubting you're actually from a rich family like you say you are. How awful of you to say such a thing. I'd like to believe I act the part, more than you at least. What are you doing? What in Idios's name happened out here? You there, throw down your weapon at once. I'm from the Bracer Guild. What? The guild? Scherazard showed the soldiers her junior bracer badge. Ah, so you are. Still, what's a bracer doing here? Her Majesty may recognize the guild, but that doesn't make it alright for you to cause commotion right outside the castle. I had reasons to believe that these people were responsible for numerous criminal acts within the capital. I knocked them out for the sake of peace and order in Grancel and the safety of its people. So could you do me a favor and arrest them? I haven't covered that part yet. Well, very well. Ordinarily, we would take you away with us as well, but I let you off this time. You know what to do. Right. Still, while you may have gotten away without punishment this time, don't expect to be so lucky next time you try and overreach your authority. Protecting the capital is our job, and will show no mercy to anyone who causes trouble, bracer or otherwise. Oh, is it? Cool. Can I ask another favor then? There's a bunch of their friends still in the city. You couldn't take care of those, could you? Of course. Last I saw, Kurt was with them, so you probably won't have to lift a finger there either. You two, follow me. Sir. I'll never get used to dealing with the army. What? Oh, I was just impressed by how much authority the Bracer badge wields. You were kinda cool. Oh, that was the first time I've ever tried using my badge like that, I'll have you know. But never mind my badge now, we are running out of time, we need to hurry. Right. Phew, we're finally here. I can't believe a girl like you could actually keep up with me running full throttle. Anyway, let's get that paperwork done, quickly. I'll be watching from here. Okay, I'll be as quick as I can. If you could just sign here. Aina put her signature on the necessary paperwork. I'm really happy for you, Aina. Congratulations. Scherazard? It looks like I need a witness to sign this. A witness? You ain't be willing, would you? Oh, sure. If you're okay with me doing it. Of course I am, silly. In fact, I want it to be you. Then I'd be happy to. I never thought the day would come when I would be called a witness for something like this. Or that the day would come when I'd be able to proudly say I was a senior bracer. Or that I was able to feel overwhelmed with the pride for something in the first place. The undersigned Aina Holden shall hereby inherit the property of Sol John Holden, as outlined in his last will and testament. Witness, Scherazard Harvey. Thank you, Scherazard. It's finally over. That's the request wrapped up, right? Actually, no. There's one more thing I need to do. We're still not done? Could you possibly bring me an application form? For working for the Bracer Guild. Or, oh, I'd like to make a donation to Her Majesty's Welfare Foundation. She's giving it everything away, isn't it? Because she really didn't want it. Very respectable. And let me guess, through their friendship, that's how Aina came to work for the guild. And their first drink off. Cheers! I still can't believe you gave all that money away. Okay, maybe you don't need all of it, but you still need some to live, right? I suppose you're right. What I did was a little strange. But I made up my mind to do this from the very beginning as a matter of principle. When I said I didn't do any of this for the money, I meant it. Still, congratulations on becoming a senior bracer. I'm not sure what the difference between a senior and a junior bracer is, but it's clear that this is something you really worked for. Well, it means you have a lot more authority, but I've got a lot more responsibility to go with it. It also means I get a new, shiny badge, but I wasn't even interested in that personally. Oh really? Yep. I'm relieved to hear that. I see you're finally beginning to understand the necessary mindset to be a bracer, Scherazard. Crap, it's Kurt. This might look like alcohol to you, but it's actually water. As today, it's admittedly a cause for celebration. I will turn a blind eye to your drinking tonight. Just don't go drinking so much that it interferes with your ability to do your job. Fine. What is it? As you are fully aware, Scherazard, you are now a senior bracer, which means you must behave with more responsibility. That means I expect to see an end to your drinking in every moment between jobs, day or night, and sneaking out at night for it too. I also expect to no longer discover that you've been taking advantage of the busiest times in my schedule to behave like a drunken lunatic. Is that really what you usually do, Scherazard? You sound like a tried and true troublemaker. Oh, don't say anything. Are we clear? Yes, sir. There's no need for the sir, of course. We're both senior bracers now, which means we're both on equal standing. Why, I'm hardly even a veteran. I'm still very much a rookie. Are you now? Regardless, this isn't what I'm here to discuss. The matter I came for concerns your uncle, Aina. I came to make you aware of the fact that the Bracer Guild is capable of asking for leniency in its punishment. Hiring a Jaeger Corps for personal use carries a very grave punishment, you see. A Jaeger Corps? Are you referring to those men dressed in black? Yes, they are one of the many corps that are known to be active here in Liberl. Recently, there have been many such corps making their way into the country, and they've been successful in finding work too. Hiring them is of course very illegal, but with the army too slow to act as they currently are, I've taken this chance to take care of them, though, so we shouldn't see any signs of any in the near future. Take care of them? All of them? Now it makes sense. So it wasn't a coincidence that he showed up when he did. He's been investigating all of the Jaeger Corps in the Liberl so that he could start an operation to wipe them all out. No wonder he seems so swamped. The Jaegers in the country have been targeting wealthy individuals in hopes of getting them to sign contracts. There have been countless cases like this all around the country of late, with civilians getting caught up in it at a worrying frequency. Oh goodness. I believe the case we're dealing with here was no exception, in that it was the Jaeger who came to your uncle rather than the other way around. It's hard to feel too much sympathy under these circumstances, but in a sense, your uncle was a victim in all of this as well. What? What are you trying to pull? Just because the Jaeger Corps approached him and not the other way around, he's a victim? That he deserves to get off with a slap on the wrist? And Aina's supposed to be okay with that? He tried to kill her! Schera, please calm down. There's no need to shout. Oh, I'm sorry, but still. No one is saying that he doesn't deserve to be punished for his actions. All I'm here to say is that if, and only if, Aina wishes, the guild is able to request leniency in his sentencing. That's all. Oh. Phew, you scared me for a minute. You need to make your decision immediately. Questioning him will take roughly a week as it is, based on what I've heard. You bear no responsibility to even make any choice at all, so please don't feel as though you have to think long and hard about this. Just please be aware that the possibility to forgive him exists. That's all. Alright. Incidentally, should you ever find yourself in need of assistance for anything in the future, the Bracer Guild is always available to aid you. We're certainly not omnipotent or infallible, but we'll at least strive to do what we can to aid those who want our help. Thank you. I'm really sorry for not telling you the whole story from the start too. Please, don't be. With the situation you were in, your reluctance is quite understandable. Furthermore, one who is worthy of being a full-fledged bracer should be able to tell roughly what a client wants just from looking at them. They should also not, under any circumstances, try to chase away a potential client in genuine need. Ouch. I've still got a long way to go then, huh? Certainly, but don't we all? Alright, I said what I came to say, so I'll be excusing myself now. Aw, really? You could stand to join us for one drink? I'm afraid not. I still have my duties as guild receptionist remaining after all. As for you, Schera, be careful you don't have too much water. Ah, crud. Why's you always got to be so serious? Oh, actually, how about you, Aina? Can you handle your liquor? If you can, you should join me for a few drinks. Well, alright then. Are you sure? I mean, really sure? Of course. I've done so much for me, how could I refuse? Joining you for a few drinks is the least I can do. Then let's get boozing. Tonight's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see what a prim and proper girl like her looks when she's drunk out of her mind. Let me guess, she would never see it, because no one has ever drunk Aina under the table. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Well, cheers. I'd seen girls just like her on the other side of that river. Silky blonde hair, beautiful blue eyes, smooth skin. The blissful children on the other side dressed like royalty and smiling like angels. Seeing them, I asked myself the same question over and over again. Why aren't I on that side? I envied them, I hated them. I both longed to be one of them and rejected their very existence. I knew the answer to my question from the very beginning. I despaired in myself. I always tried to avoid others getting too close, believing that to be what I needed to do in order to live, but I could never completely get rid of that tiny lingering hope deep within my heart. That eventually, no matter how long it took, the day would finally come when I would smile from the heart. That day would come when I would finally be able to accept and forgive myself for how I was. And the next day, Aina visited the Brazier Guild and registered her desire for her uncle to be shown leniency in his sentencing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to accompany her, having been drunk under the table by her the night before. Like I said, nobody can beat Aina. Side story, client, finished. I like this one. Heaven's Eye and 4000 Mira. Beautiful. Does it even say what the bonus was? Yeah, the bonus was, but I mean what the reason for getting the bonus is. Is it because we didn't knock out the gentleman, maybe? Ah, no, doesn't matter. No, I wouldn't say beat this memory, we played through this memory and that's enough. And I have to say, another beautiful story once again, and I really like these memories, even though the story bits are very long. So I can appreciate the fact that we can walk ourselves in between those memories, have a couple of fights and stuff like that, just to change it up a little bit, making it more like a bit of a story we can play ourselves instead of just listening or reading the text up ahead. So yeah, that really does help. Even though, to be honest, I do like the structure of the first and the second chapter more. I can appreciate the difference they are trying to do here. But yeah, next time, I don't think we have any memories left at the moment. I think we're gonna go towards the fortress near Liberl next time and continue on that path and see what kind of stone we can find there. It has to be someone that trained there, so it might as well be Estelle. So I'm just gonna cross my fingers and hope so, because that's a member I wouldn't mind having in our team. But that's gonna be next time. Until then, I wish you all a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And if you're still here, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure to be back next time as we continue on exploring the fortress. Bye bye.